Hey everyone, back to another video of Acquire Tech. Now this is part 2 of the previous video that I just did with all my ATI cards. Now these are the NVIDIA cards that I picked up on that recent haul, so I want to go ahead and get into these real quick and show you what I got. So the 4 cards you see in front of you are actually 7900 GS cards. 2 are NVIDIA reference cards, one's BFG, and one is an Albatron. Hopefully at least 2 of them work so I can maybe do an SLI setup at some point. And the next 2 cards we have are 6800 GSs. We have one from PNY and one is an NVIDIA reference design. Again, hoping both of these cards work so I can do an SLI setup with these as well. But I'm really fond of the NVIDIA one down here. I love the design of the cooler, and the card looks pretty cool with this heat pipe that comes down into the VRM area. Really cool design. And the next card we have is actually it's a Asus 6600. A member over on the Pixel Talk Discord server helped me find out the model of this Surroundista. I appreciate that. This is a C229 Ultimate 6600. So pretty cool card. I hope it works. It's kind of a cool cooler, but the only thing holding it in are these little plastic pins. So it actually doesn't have anything you screw in. It just holds kind of like what you see on Northbridge and Southbridge chipsets. It's the only thing holding this hunk of aluminum to the GPU. Next up is a 8800 GTS 640, and I guess I have to flash it because the previous owner wrote this all over it. I haven't tried it out yet, so I have no idea what to expect, but I assume I'm going to need to flash it, flash a new BIOS onto it. So yeah, other than that, still in pretty good shape, good condition. So yeah, interested to see what this is all about. Next card is an MSI 7600 GT, which has a Magic the Gathering type artwork going on over here. It has an odd looking cooler. I think the setup is where it sucks in air here and then blows out the back. That's the most logical way, I would assume. It has like a blower style fan in there and pretty meaty looking aluminum heatsink, which is kind of overkill in my opinion for a card like this. Especially it doesn't have any external power or anything. So yeah, interesting looking card. So there's not really much else I can say about that. Next up is a 7900 GT made by Gigabyte, and it has like an orb/flower type heatsink. It looks kind of rough, as you can see. It looks like it's been maybe played ball with, but I assume it still works. I hope it does. This is kind of an odd thing too. It has a Molex for power, which for a 7900 series I thought was kind of odd because the majority of them, from what I've seen, have a 6-pin PEG connector. So thought that was kind of weird because it is a PCI Express card as well, so yeah, but we'll test it out and make sure it works. Next up is a 7950 GT made by Sparkle. This is a really cool design. I actually really like the design of this cooler, but it is really beat up. As you can see, it's in terrible condition, so I might try to cover up the amazing unicorn there and maybe try to repaint this black, assuming it all works. But I really do like the design of the card. It's pretty sharp looking. Next we have the 7950 GX2. This is actually my second one. I found this card at a recycling center, and the guy was just going to throw it out, or I'm sorry, he was going to recycle it. And I snatched this card and along with a couple other cards from him. And I fired it up, and it works from what I can tell. I need to load up Windows 7 to ensure 100%, but it did at least power on and give me a display, so I'll have to do some more in-depth testing, but it's actually in really good shape. I'm a big fan of these cards. They're not really hard to find. You can find them on eBay all day long, but they're really cool. I'm a big fan of the 7950 GX2s. Now we got another 7 series card. This is a 7800 GTCO edition by EVGA. It's the copper edition. I've actually owned this card when it first came out. I purchased one, and I liked it so much that I bought a second one and was running 2 of these in SLI for a long time, until I replaced them eventually replaced both of them with an 8800 GT, which I think of the game that I was playing at the time was Modern Warfare, maybe? I can't remember, but it was smoking them. The 8800 GT was smoking 2 of these cards, but regardless, still a really pretty card, beautiful card, and I'm actually glad to have it. It brings back a lot of good memories. Next up is a 7800 GTX. This is an NVIDIA reference design, and this card is actually in really good shape. It's kind of special because if you look here, it's straight from NVIDIA, so it's not for resale. I assume that this was sent to us reviewers as a review sample. This seems where some of these cards came from in the whole haul, but really cool. I'm excited I got a working 7800 GTX it does display, and it does fire up. So I have a couple other ones, but they don't work, but I'm glad to have one that actually works. Next up is an EVGA GTX 670 for the Win 2GB variant. You've probably seen this in the new Far Cry video, 5 video I did. This card was part of the roundup, and I like the card. I'm a big fan of this card. Kepler hasn't aged particularly very well, but the design and the look of this card is one that I like. So maybe you can see me in the camera. Hello. And another card that I picked up with the recycling with the 7950 GX2 was an 8800 GTS 512. This is based on the G92 cheap GPU. It had some kind of, the stickers were kind of coming off, so I just took it all off and revealed the beautiful reference NVIDIA cooler, which I'm a big fan of actually. I love the look of this card. If it only had a black PCB, it would look, and a backplate, it would be the hotness. But it doesn't work, so I might be baking this one because these cards are notorious for dying early deaths, and for something this inexpensive, there's no reason why you wouldn't bake it or reball it. Next up, 8800 GTX. Yes, I already did a video on one. I have another one. This one's in great shape. Fired it up, and it works. So yeah, got another one in great condition. So it's nice having. But yeah, not really much to say about it. Can't go wrong with 8800 GTX. Legendary card. And the next card is a EVGA GTX 590. I got this card from, I think his name is Gunslinger or Chris, Guitar Chris. I'm sorry if I messed up your name, buddy. Over on the hard form, sold me this card. It's a EVGA 590 classified. Beautiful card, love it. And it has a weird looking backplate, which is kind of separated, where the stock ones have, I think, a full piece, I think. If you check out Daniel C's video, he has a nice polished backplate on the back of his that he did some, he polished the backplate. I'll put a link to that video below, but Daniel, I can't compete with your 590, bro. All I got is this one. But I still like it. It did pretty well in the Far Cry 5 video that I recently did, so I'm going to do some more testing with this bad boy. And while not an NVIDIA graphics card, I've wanted one of these for the longest time, but I finally got one. It's made by BFG, but it's a AGP card, or physics card made by AGP. And NVIDIA bought them out, and yeah, not really too much to say about it. Doesn't have a whole lot of use in obviously current games, but for some retro games it'd be fun to play around with. The next card is a 7300 and passively cooled. Not really much to say about it, except that it's passively cooled. And the next card up is one that I love very much. It's an EVGA, it's an NVIDIA reference design 6800 Ultra. And this is the PCI Express variant. Not only is it in great shape, but like the 7800 GTX, it's one that was sent directly by NVIDIA, and it's not for resale, so I assume it was sent to reviewers to do a review on. But so I guess it's kind of rare in that aspect. But it's kind of a rare card regardless, or not too rare, but they're getting harder and harder to find. But I love this card. I had one a long time ago and sold it and wish I never did, so I'm glad I finally got another one back. Speaking of 6800 Ultra, let's take a look at the next one. Here it is in its original box from BFG, and this is a 6800 Ultra but an AGP version. It's got dual Molex for power, and it's actually in really good condition. Big shout out to damn, I forget your name now. I apologize. But a brother over on the hard forum sent me this card along with an AGP AMD motherboard with a 3500 plus in it. So really appreciate it. I'll put your name on the screen. I'm sorry I forgot your name. But I've talked to a lot of people lately. But I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for sending this to me. This is an awesome card. I've been really wanting one. And if you notice here, it's got the Gamer's Choice right there. And this little guy's name is Twitch, which is kind of weird. But anyways, I don't remember what that has anything to do with anything, but it's got the original accessories. And game demos. Awesome. Alright, well I think that pretty much wraps up my NVIDIA haul and of all the cards that I got, NVIDIA cards that I got, but I appreciate you guys checking out the video. I have a bunch of other videos in the works, none of them are finished yet, but they're coming up. So stay tuned, in the next couple of weeks should have some more stuff out. I also got a ton of sound cards and like 3 or 4 motherboards. So if you're interested in seeing that stuff, let me know. I can make another video if you guys are interested. But regardless, appreciate taking time to watch it, and I'll check you guys later.